Super Bowl 59. Travis Kelce's future uncertain. But Patrick Mahomes believes he has a lot of football left. The future of Travis Kelce in the NFL is one of the most pressing questions coming out of Super Bowl 59. Especially after his Kansas City Chiefs were handed a devastating loss by the Philadelphia Eagles in the big game. While speculation about his potential retirement has been swirling, Kelce himself remained tight-lipped about his future in the game, offering no hints about whether he will return next season. Kelce's Super Bowl 59 performance. Kelce, who has been one of the most dominant tight ends in NFL history, had a relatively quiet night in the Super Bowl. He recorded 4 catches for 39 receiving yards on 6 targets, not the kind of performance many have come to expect from the 35-year-old. The Chiefs' offense, in general, struggled against the Eagles' defense, particularly in the first half. It wasn't until late in the fourth quarter, when the game was already decided, that the Chiefs showed any semblance of life. While the Super Bowl defeat was painful, Kelce still managed to achieve a personal milestone, surpassing Jerry Rice for the most career receptions in Super Bowl history. With 35 catches, it's a testament to his ability to consistently perform on the biggest stage. No retirement announcement from Kelce. Despite the loss and the looming questions about his future, Kelce did not speak extensively about retirement in his post-game comments. He chose to address the media briefly in the locker room, but notably, he did not offer any insights into his next steps. Instead, Kelce focused on the team's performance, acknowledging that it was a brutal night for the Chiefs. This silence about his future has only fueled speculation. Given Kelce's remarkable career and immense contributions to the Chiefs, it's understandable that many are wondering if this could be the end of an era for one of the greatest tight ends the league has ever seen. But while Kelce might not have given a definitive answer, his career achievements make it clear he has little left to prove. Patrick Mahomes expresses confidence in Kelce's future. One person who believes Travis Kelce still has plenty of football left in him is Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs' superstar quarterback, Mahomes, who has built a strong on-field chemistry with Kelce over the years, expressed his belief that the veteran tight end can continue to play at a high level if he chooses to. He knows he has a lot of football left in him, Mahomes said. You can see it. He always makes plays in the biggest moments. But it's if he wants to put in that grind. It's a grind out there to play 20 games, or whatever it is, and get to a Super Bowl. He's done enough to be a gold jacket guy, a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Mahomes, who has shared numerous memorable moments with Kelce throughout their careers, acknowledged the physical and mental toll that comes with playing in the NFL for as long as Kelce has. The grind of an NFL season, especially one that ends in a Super Bowl, is relentless. And Mahomes understands that Kelce will need to decide if he's willing to continue putting in the effort to chase another championship. Kelce's legacy and future with the Chiefs. At 35 years old, Kelce has already cemented his place among the all-time greats. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a 10-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time first-team All-Pro, and holds numerous tight end and postseason records, including playoff receiving yards. Kelce has accomplished just about everything a player could hope for in the NFL. However, as Mahomes pointed out, it's ultimately up to Kelce whether he feels compelled to keep playing or whether he decides to retire on top. This season was the first year of a 2-year contract extension Kelce signed with the Chiefs, meaning he's under contract for the 2025 season. If Kelce does return, his $19.8 million cap hit for next year would likely be a significant factor in the Chiefs' salary cap planning. Whether or not the Chiefs are willing to commit to that cap hit depends on Kelce's decision and how the team feels about his continued production. The decision to come, as Kelce walked off the field following the Super Bowl 59 loss. He seemed reflective and downcast. After such a stellar career, it's understandable that Kelce would take some time to contemplate whether he wants to continue playing at the highest level or step away from the game. His impact on the field has been undeniable, and the Chiefs have built their offensive system around him for years. But the grind of the NFL, particularly at 35 years old, is grueling. Kelce has already solidified his place in NFL history, and whether he decides to chase another title with the Kansas City Chiefs or retire and enjoy his well-earned legacy, one thing is clear: He has more than earned the right to make this decision on his terms. As Mahomes said, Kelce will always have a spot with the Chiefs if he chooses to return. But only time will tell if the desire to add another ring to his collection will be enough to bring him back for one more season. Super Bowl 59 loss signals time for Chiefs to rebuild around Patrick Mahomes. After a humbling 40-22 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59, the Kansas City Chiefs are now faced with the task of reevaluating their roster and rebuilding their foundation. Especially around Patrick Mahomes, it's been a reminder of just how fragile success can be, and how crucial it is to address weaknesses, something the Chiefs had learned the hard way 4 years ago after their crushing loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. A history of struggles and resolve. After that painful defeat in Super Bowl 55, General Manager Brett Veach vowed to never let his team's offensive line falter again. Patrick Mahomes had been battered and bewildered by the Buccaneers' defense, and the failure of the offensive line was a key reason behind that blowout. The following day, Veach and head coach Andy Reid began plotting how to reshape the roster to ensure it could withstand such a collapse in the future. Fast forward to Super Bowl 59, and it's clear that the offensive line and overall team structure still needs improvement. The Chiefs were unable to protect Mahomes, and that ultimately led to the lopsided loss. This defeat exposed cracks that had been forming for some time. The team is now at a crossroads, and the offseason must be about addressing these weaknesses head-on. Offensive line and playmakers, cracks in the foundation. The most glaring issue during the Super Bowl was the play of the Chiefs' offensive line. Against an aggressive Eagles defense, Mahomes was pressured relentlessly and was forced to be a one-dimensional quarterback. The Eagles' defensive line dominated without needing to blitz, and Mahomes was often under duress. Even Travis Kelce, one of the league's best tight ends, struggled to make an impact, recording just 4 catches for 39 yards. The Chiefs' offense looked disjointed, and their reliance on Mahomes to work miracles with subpar talent was evident. The wide receiver group, in particular, lacked a true playmaker outside of Kelce. Kareem Hunt had limited opportunities, and the receivers didn't have the game-breaking speed or ability to challenge the Eagles' defense. The Chiefs' offensive line, which had been a problem in the past, was exposed in the biggest moment. Kelce is 35 years old, and although he's been a staple of the offense for years, it's clear that father time is catching up to him, especially in high-pressure situations like the Super Bowl. Eagles' superior talent and depth. When comparing the Chiefs' roster to the Eagles, the disparity was striking. The Eagles have multiple elite players across their offense, including wide receivers A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who outclassed any receiver the Chiefs had. Saquon Barkley, even though he was kept in check, was still arguably the most dynamic player on the field, alongside quarterback Jalen Hurts, who went on to win Super Bowl MVP. Meanwhile, the Chiefs were left to rely on aging stars and unproven players. The Eagles' offensive line also played a major role in controlling the game, with 3 of their players ranking among the top 11 highest-paid linemen in the league. They were bigger, faster, and more physical than the Chiefs' front, an area that the Chiefs need to improve in. The Chiefs must rebuild, a path forward. In the aftermath of the Super Bowl, it's clear that the Chiefs' front office and coaching staff must make significant changes. The offensive line needs a rebuild, with a focus on younger, more consistent blockers. There also needs to be a dedicated effort to add playmakers, especially at wide receiver. The Chiefs cannot afford to rely solely on Mahomes' brilliance and Kelce's aging body. Additionally, if they want to return to championship contention, the Chiefs must address the gaps in their defense, which allowed the Eagles to dominate early and often. The loss to the Eagles was a wake-up call. The Chiefs can no longer be content with a patchwork roster. To keep up with younger, more talented teams like the Eagles, they'll need to make bold moves in the offseason. Whether it's through the draft, free agency, or trades, the Chiefs must bolster their offensive line, add more weapons for Mahomes, and reassert themselves as a top-tier contender in the AFC. A defining moment for the Chiefs dynasty. The Chiefs dynasty, which has been defined by Mahomes' greatness and Andy Reid's leadership, is at a crossroads. Sunday night's loss could either mark a brief setback or the start of a longer-term challenge to return to the top of the NFL. The coming offseason will test the resolve of Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes to rebound from this loss. Mahomes has proven that he can overcome adversity, but he needs the right pieces around him to compete at the highest level. If the Chiefs can learn from the loss to the Eagles, make the necessary changes, and rebuild around Mahomes, they can still be a Super Bowl contender in years to come. But if they fail to adapt, this loss could mark the beginning of a tougher road ahead. Starting Monday, the Chiefs need to decide which path they will take, and whether they can keep their dynasty alive or will face an extended period of rebuilding. The next steps will define how this franchise is remembered.